Welcome back to the daily study of the Way of Mastery. Today we continue with Lesson 2, You Create Your Experience. Section 3, Peace Flows from Alignment with the Mind of God. Starting Section 3, paragraphs 1 and 2. And Jeshua says, Therefore, the pathway of awakening, the way of the heart, must start with the decision to embrace the truth that is true always. I am a creator of all that I think and see and experience. I am free always. Nothing impinges upon me but the thoughts I have chosen to hold within. Nothing imprisons me but my own perceptions of imprisonment. Nothing limits me at any level or dimension of experience, save that which I have chosen. And then he says, the way of the heart then embraces all things, trusts all things, and eventually transcends all things. Why? Because it begins by assuming complete and total responsibility for what is being channeled through it. You all serve as a channel from the moment you arise until the moment you arise. Even during your sleep, you are choosing that which flows through your consciousness. So again, this empowering message over and over again. And it is so challenging to our ego, which is the sense of small self, the sense of separation, this limited way we identify ourselves as like a human being in a little body that lives for, 75 plus years, and then who knows what happens, right? It just challenges all of that. Jeshua is constantly inviting us to identify with our soul self, the eternal soul self made in the image and likeness of our Creator, which is the creator of anything in existence. Again, you can't have God and something. If you think God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, if God is the all that is, you can't have God and something else. Anything that exists within God. And again, God's not a character in the play. God is the whole thing. God's not a person with a personality. God's the whole thing. The love, the creative force, all the laws, everything. And we, made in that image and likeness, have free will, have the power to choose. So Jeshua is inviting us to embrace the truth, and that's with a capital T, that is true always. I am a creator of all that I think and see and experience. Like, let's just assume that is true. And then we look at our life and we're like, well, why would I create all these problems? Why wouldn't I have infinite abundance? And why wouldn't my life be easy peasy and graceful and everything work out the way that I want it to? Well, that's a great question. But instead of blaming the universe or blaming life and just being, oh, well, this is the way it is, maybe we have to ask better questions. Like, why would I create that? Why would I create the experience of getting laid off? Like, what is it? What can it teach me? How can it help me? I would want to do something because it would benefit me or someone else. So maybe getting laid off forces me to be honest with myself that, like, hey, now's the time in this. And now I have this space. Like, our brain can freak out. Where's money going to come from? All the things that our brain does if we get laid off or we're out of work. But maybe our soul is like kicking us out of the nest and being like, hey, you've been wanting to do something else. Here's your chance. Or you've been complaining about your job and your boss is like, here's your chance, create a new one. So it is total empowerment. We are free always. Nothing impinges upon me but the thoughts I have chosen to hold within. Think about that. Think about the thoughts that we hold within. And those are like the quote unquote rules of life that we just buy into. Well, life's unfair, or life is hard, or money doesn't grow on trees. Like all the things that we've heard from our parents, from our culture, all of these rules, we choose to hold them within. And just because, here's the other thing too, just because it's familiar, just because it's conditioned and there's a pattern. And to quote neuroscience, there's grooves in the brain. We've wired our brain a certain way. We're not the victims to that. Yeah, maybe our brain is quote unquote wired in a certain way. It's just habituated a certain way to think and see a certain way. But we can change that in any moment. That's the good news. That's Jeshua's message. We can change that in any moment. And maybe it doesn't seem easy to change that, but we're not victims to it. We can change it if we want to, and we stick with it, and we believe that we can. And the more we believe, the more we make life in like to suit us, not the other way around. So if I have ultimate faith that life is for me, then anything that happens is in that context of, well, life is for me. I got a flat tire and I'm late for a meeting. Well, life is for me in some way. I don't need to know how, but I have ultimate faith and conviction that this is meant to be in some way, that there's some lesson here for me. There's some gift in here for me without question. Jeshua says, nothing imprisons me but my own perception of imprisonment. Nothing limits me at any level or dimension of experience. Again, that's so threatening to the sense of our small self, because there's a part of it that's so seduced by being the victim. It's so easy to blame other things and put the responsibility outside of ourselves, the responsibility to choose where our focus is, the responsibility to choose love. And to look and to be honest with ourselves about all the places we're not choosing love. And Jeshua says, the way of the heart embraces all things, not the things that we think are good, not the things that we like and we want, all things. The way of the heart trusts all things. And again, like my mind goes like, even like the demons and the dark entities and whatever like evil or negative dense consciousness is, all things. The way of the heart embraces all things. It's not afraid of anything, because again, the message of Jeshua is we are sovereign beings. We choose what we allow into our experience. So if you're experiencing darkness, or let's say dark entities, on some level, you're open to that. And that's not like a judgment, because again, we are so powerful that in any moment we can say, no, I'm here in the light. I'm choosing light. I'm choosing love. I'm choosing patience and compassion for myself. And also, sometimes we don't know how maybe the darkness is serving us. We can't see it. Sometimes it can be a test in a way. Like, oh, here's this darkness that is wanting me to go turn to alcohol. Like there's a voicemail that says, turn to alcohol, numb, don't drink, don't feel. This is the way. And so that is a test in a way, but a good test, like an opportunity for us to choose love, to choose to have the courage to feel, to choose ourselves. Right? So these aren't, the way of the heart embraces all things and eventually transcends all things, because it begins by assuming complete and total responsibility for what is being channeled through it. You all serve as a channel, Jeshua says. And I made a note here when I was studying that says, can you, meaning me, can I accept this? Can I accept that I'm a channel? You just like see all these, you hear these stories, you see these people on like Instagram or online or on TV, like, oh, they're a channel for spirit. Like they're somehow different, right? Like the whole way, the narrative in traditional religion is that Jesus is different from you. Jeshua is different from you. He is the Son of God and you're not. He's got special powers. He can do miracles and you don't. You can't. Even though he said these things and more ye shall do. And he calls us brothers and sisters, equals, peers. So you all serve as a channel. Can you accept that? And if you're like, well, I don't feel like a channel. Well, my question would be, do you want to? Are you curious about it? Right? When we are open, we can receive information. We all know that. when we try to solve a problem, it's a lot harder than when we almost kind of forget about the problem. Like, I want to solve this problem, but I'm not going to think on it. I'm going to go for a walk in nature. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go exercise. Boom, solutions just pop into your brain. Where's that coming from? You serve as a channel. There's information all over the place. And if you want to serve to be as a channel for love and for the divine and for God, to be this force of love and service in the world without attachment to what your brain thinks it needs to look like and how you think the channel should come through you, if you're willing to be open and allow, that's when miracles happen. Don't judge the miracle. Allow it. And you'll be guided in like the things that pop into your head, and you'll say something. Our ego's like, I said that, but we know it didn't come from us. Or we'll like do something. I don't know. We'll let an old lady in line in front of us at the grocery store is one item and we got 20 items. Like, but something's inside is like, let her go first. Like, and who knows, like, we don't know what that little gesture of kindness and love means to that person. So even during your sleep, Jeshua says, you are choosing that which flows through your consciousness. That's awesome and empowering. For some people, it might feel scary and like they're out of control. Like, I don't choose my dreams. Like, what the heck? Some of my dreams are crazy or dark or scary. Again, our soul self may be choosing these things when our, conscious little small self can't understand why we would have a really scary, dark dream. But Jeshua is always turning us back to being empowered over and over again. If you're getting sick of this message, good in a way, like, pound this into your subconscious. Start to see and ask yourself, why would I create this experience? I got hacked. My phone got hacked. The people stole a lot of money from me and my family. And I could make a choice. Am I going to be the victim to that? Am I going to blame? Am I going to get scared and afraid that without this money, we're screwed? Or am I going to make a different choice and say, if the money goes, the money can come. Money's energy. If it goes, it's meant to go in some way. I don't need to understand why it's meant to go. My abundance consciousness, my belief, my conviction that money is energy and comes from so many different sources is dramatically greater now because of this experience. Because I saw through the illusion of lack inside of me, at all the thoughts that came up when this money got stolen. And will it get returned to me? I have no doubt that it not only will be returned to me, but it will be amplified, exponentially returned. But it may not come through like the FBI finding where the money is. I think that money is gone, but it's going to come in other ways and other sources. And I'm open to that. And I'm excited to see how. And that doesn't mean I didn't have my little pity party and wasn't angry and I wasn't the victim, felt like the victim for a little bit. I did. But the key is I let myself I gave myself that full experience, and then I made a different choice and I stayed open. And I did ask myself, why would I choose this experience? So I love this message. I love Jeshua and his love for us. His undying commitment to us, to wake us up to who we are, to what we are. And as we wake up, if you're listening to this, you're waking up. And I'm not talking like woke. I'm talking you're waking up to the truth of who you are, of love, that you're here for a reason. And you're listening to this because you want to be more of what you are. You want to be more loving in all ways. But first, in how you identify who you are, what you are, why you're here. You're here to serve, and you serve through just being love and doing whatever's in front of you in your daily life. And we make mistakes, and that's how we learn. And that's how we deepen in our conviction when we have a moment of greed or scarcity and we do things that like doesn't feel good. Then we're like, damn, okay, next time I'm going to make a different choice there and have faith that like my abundance or my source doesn't come from this specific thing that I was greedy at because I thought I could lose. But next time I'm going to trust and let that go and know my source is connected with all of life. I'm not disconnected from my source. Anyways, went a little bit longer just kind of talking, but I just acknowledge you for being on this journey. If you've either made it this far or you're just popping in, I love you. I love this work. And if you get value from this, like, share, subscribe, send me a message. Just be like, hey, I'm getting value from this. Thank you. If you are, because it's great for me to hear. Otherwise, like, I just kind of talk into my phone and post stuff online. I mean, that I do it because it calls to me. But it's always nice just to get a little encouragement along the way. Shoot me a message, hello@revelationbreathwork.com. Find me on Instagram @revelationbreathwork. Yeah, thanks so much for being a part of this journey with me, and we'll see you next time.